All right. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Couch Warrior podcast. As always, I'm your host, Mike. And today for UFC Brazil or Sao Paulo, we've got Big Steve in the house. Thanks for pulling up, Steve. It's been a minute. We've been on for an off week, second one in a row. And how are you feeling? How are you feeling about the card?
Feeling good, man. Thanks for having me on. I'm taped the whole card, so yeah, feel very good.
That was so blunt. I love it. All right. Thank you, everybody watching right now in the chat. Real quick, we've got Mushroom. What's up, my brother? Lou's here for the soccer predictions. You got anything, Steve?
No, it's like a break week for soccer as well, so I don't know what Lou's talking about.
He's being Lou then.
Yeah.
I don't know what this means. All right. Let's hop right into the card. We've got 13 fights, and to start it off, we've got Marc Diakiese versus Caio Fernandes. Fernandes is going to be 8-1-0. Don't have his age. He's 5'9" and don't have his reach either, training out of Nova União. Diakiese, he's going to be 16-7-0. He's 30, 5'10". He's 1 inch taller, 73-inch reach. Got Great Britain top team for him. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, this is the people's main event, I guess. I was going to retape this one just because the line movement is pretty interesting. Actually, I wasn't going to because of all the regionals, but then I definitely will. Originally, when I taped it, I think Diakiese was like close to minus 200, and some people I know were still playing him, and I just didn't feel super flash about it. You know, Diakiese, a juice or chalk it's not my thing. I have missed out on, easy plays like the Slava Borisov fight when he was massive juice and he obviously covered, 30-27. Actually, no, he was a big dog there. That's right. He was a big dog, and I remember I just sprinkled it, but everyone else went confidently and bet him. But so maybe I'm a bit biased towards Diakiese, at minus numbers. But this kid, I get it. Everyone's relying on him to gas out, and that's fair enough because in his one loss he did gas out, and in his wins he slowed down as well. But they're back in 2019, and what I saw was while he's fresh, his takedown defense is actually pretty good. And as the fight goes on and people consistently try to grapple, then he gets a little bit more easy to take down, a little bit less reversals. But since the last loss, 2021, he's got 2 quick finishes, and I think they're decent regional Brazilian opponents. I don't know. It's a tough fight to get a read on. I get why the money's coming in on the Brazilian. If my hand was forced, I would have rather, played the Brazilian at that early dog line when I taped it. But I didn't like to get it ahead of, in the way of all my sharp friends actually playing Diakiese, even though they probably could be wrong, but I just had this feeling that I don't really want to touch the fight personally. If I want to play Diakiese, I can easily, just live bet it. If this kid slows down, if he doesn't finish him, but just the fact that the Brazilian kid Fernandes has any finishing upside makes me feel like I can't trust Diakiese. He's not very good. And people saying that he was competitive with Alvarez. Alvarez has no striking. I watched that fight for the first time, and they were both just throwing spinning wheel kicks at each other. And Diakiese looked like he had slightly better striking until he got headbutted and finished. So yeah, past fight, I'll probably retape it and see if I like Diakiese at this slightly less chalky number.
Yeah, I was on a similar page until the line really dropped. I was thinking Fernandes or pass because he is dangerous, and in that one loss, he was winning the grappling in the first round, and he looked pretty good at it too. And then he gasped, but maybe that's why. I don't know how old he is. I don't know if he's young and still improving. I don't know. Like you said, there's a lot of questions and unknowns that made me kind of want to stay off of it. That Sardinia guy is not bad either, and yeah, he gassed and fell off a cliff, but it was also 2 years ago. So again, if he's young, he's probably improved since then. The cardio's probably come in. He's got 2 decent wins, like you said. This Arley guy, he's pretty solid. Felipe Douglas, he's all right. But then Diakiese dropped to minus 135, and I felt like that was a pretty good price. I do think he should be around minus 150. He is more trustworthy. I know he seems really old, and in fight years he probably is, but he's only 30 years old. And I think he's a clean striker. Sometimes he's a little stupid, like in the Johnson fight, a fight that was winnable, but he lost it because of himself. He's got decent output. He's got good wrestling, but again, bad fight IQ. If he wasn't minus 135, I would have passed. I don't know what it is now. I saw minus 115 earlier today, like in the morning. That was definitely a play in my opinion, but I would pass at the current line. I think it's about right. Just need more info on this Fernandes guy. He might be really good. He might run out here and just spark Diakiese, or he might get fraud checked. It's hard to tell. I went with the vet at minus 135 just for what I do, 1.35 units. Yeah, to win one.
That's fair enough.
We can move on, though. A bit of a squash match, if you ask me. We've got Montserrat Ruiz versus Eduarda Moura. Ruiz, she's going to be 10-3 and 30 years old, 5 feet tall with a 61-inch reach. Moura is going to be 9-0 undefeated. She's 29, 1 year younger, 6 inches taller. She's going to have a 6-inch reach advantage, and she trains over with Jailton Almeida. Most importantly, they share the same vitamins, and you can certainly tell. I'll start us off here. We have so little tape on Moura. We have like essentially nothing. We have the Contender Series fight where she took the girl down, mauled her, got the sub. And then we have this other fight a few years back, I think, where she gets the girl down, but the girl kind of did it to herself. She jumped Gilly, and then Moura dragged her down and finished it from there. So she's strong. She's physical. Her striking looks decent, but we're working with like maybe 15 strikes that she's thrown on this tape. We don't really know how good it is. Her grappling is clearly good. She's dominant on top. Again, very little tape on it, but from what we've seen, she looks really solid down there. Really good grappling game. She's quick with it. She was getting the ground and pound, switched right into the rear naked in her last one on the Contender Series. She should dominate here. I mean, I don't really see maybe she'll get fraud checked at some point. We don't know with the little information, but I don't think Ruiz is going to be the one to do it. Just like people thought she might do it to Amorim because Amorim got broken by Sam Hughes. Ruiz just isn't that type of girl. She doesn't bring like this crazy pressure. She doesn't bring much of a striking threat. She's extremely hittable. You can take her down. All she has is that hip toss and really nothing else. Got completely outstruck on the feet by Amorim, a jiu-jitsu person. So I don't have much hope there. The current line, obviously, not really much you can do with it. I parlayed Moura last week when she was minus 400. I did this before UFC 295 or 290. Was it 294? It was 294. I did it before then, before my Anshul Jubilee lesson. And I wish I could take it back and not have any money on her, but I can't. Look, I do think it's fine. I think it's a fine piece, but I'm trying to move away from these chalk parlays. They've been nothing but money losers for me recently. So trying to move away from that, trying to get back to what I'm good at. And yeah, I think she wins, but I would stay away. How about you, Steve?
Yeah, not much to add on, man. Definitely wouldn't advocate for parlaying this chick, even though I know some people that have done it. Could be a round one finish, it could be one of the ones you get away with. But yeah, I was looking at maybe some overs. I was impressed with Ruiz's submission defense against Amorim. I think Mora's nowhere near as good in submissions. If she's going to finish, it'll probably be a ground and pound because that's what Amorim was really close to getting a KO, and then eventually she did in round 3. She was still moving. She was still moving Ruiz, and then Tyone stepped in. But that guy was just waiting to step in from the first round. Like the first couple of punches, like she started to turn, and then he's like, "You gotta defend yourself." And it's like, dude, she's turning to Matt. Take it easy. Yeah. But correct me if I'm wrong, man. I just went on one of my obscure books, and I saw that the under 2.5 is now a pick'em. Is that right on BetOnline as well? Last time I checked, it was like minus 200.
No, it's minus 160. I would play that.
Seems like this book is this book is a bit different. I was like minus. Yeah, so I know some money is coming on the over. I don't think I'm brave enough to play the over 2.5. I was more talking about the 1.5. And this chick is just like a mat returner. She will mat return you. She's physical, but I don't think she's submitting. At least not early. I don't think she's submitting Ruiz. Ruiz seems to be tough enough. But yeah, it's a pass. I wouldn't be parlaying this chick just because in one of her more recent decisions, which I can't find, she went to a split. Everything else is a finish. it just leads me to believe, if she can't get these girls out of there, maybe she's going to slow down, and then the line is going to look extremely square. But that girl she got on Contender Series, she was awful, just especially awful off her back. So that was kind of a
I
squash
had
match.
money on her too somehow.
So did I, man. I hate myself for it. I hate myself because the last little bit of tape was she wasn't getting up. The girl was taking it down, but she wasn't getting up. The ref was standing him up, and I was like, I was kind of thinking about that, and then I subconsciously just played her, and then I'm like, why did I just play that? It's like someone hypnotized me to play the dog, and then as soon as she got taken down, I'm like, yeah, that's losing. That's losing.
I'm looking at Moura in round 2 by knockout plus 1200. It's kind of interesting for a sprinkle.
Ooh, or 2 or 3 if you want to be safe.
Yeah, on FanDuel maybe once it comes out.
What's more just by KO in general? It's probably minus money, eh?
Nah, it's not. Her sub is more. Her sub is lower. Her
Ooh.
KO is plus 300. Sub is plus 165.
Man, that's not bad at all. That's
Yeah.
not bad at all.
Might get a better line on the domestics once they open.
Yeah, probably. If that's bet online, it would definitely be better.
Yeah.
Especially after some people hit it after listening to this super sharp pod.
Oh, dude, we're gonna move all the lines as usual. I'm a big line mover in this community. Everybody knows this.
Yeah, you move them early, but then when they open up, you move them the other way when they.
Dude,
open
I don't
up.
even think I'm moving the early ones, to be completely honest.
Look, as long as you move them, then it's a good confidence boost. Doesn't matter what.
I think the only one I might have actually moved was Shara by sub at plus 2000. All I'm saying is once I said it dropped.
You're right, man, and that was good CLV, and I almost hit at some point.
Yeah. All right, we can move on. Next up, we've got the unexpected Twitter civil war of the week. We've got Angela Hill versus Denise Gomes. Hill is going to be 15-13-0, 38 years old, 5'3" with a 65-inch reach. On the other side, you got Gomes. She's 8-2-0, 23. She's going to be 15 years younger, 1 inch shorter, and be at let's call it a 2-inch reach disadvantage. Start us off, Steve.
Cool. So this was one of my first plays about a week ago during the break week, and I did quick tape. I don't like to go too detailed before the week comes along. Same thing I did for peak, and then as the line moved, I wanted to double check. So I did quick tape, and I've seen enough. It just reminded me that the Gomes is a little bit green still. She's quite young. It makes sense, but she's a dog. She's a dog. One of my biggest regrets is passing on her versus Yasmin. Oh man, that line.
Catch that one, and I got called crazy. All the words.
No, it was a beautiful play, and I could just all I needed to see was that the other girl, Lucinda, in her debut as a grappler, just wobble Yarigi multiple times, and I was like, man, if Gomes hits her, I didn't expect a 30-second KO, but so that hurts me. That hurts me deep down inside. But yeah, she's a dog. She'll fight for your money. She hits extremely hard. Even when she's losing, she comes back and gets knockouts. So that goes a long way. But my friend told me to look into it, and I said, no, I'm not interested in this line because I just assumed that Hill was going to be a favorite and Gomes was going to be a dog. I said, no, thanks. I think it's accurate. And then I looked and I was like, oh, wait a minute. Hill is the dog. And I was like, yeah, that's a play for me because, she's just more well-rounded. She's more physical. Gomes does a lot of cage push, but her wrestling is truly, truly awful. The IQ is still, like I said, a big green. You've seen it on the Contender Series fight. Like she should have done much better against that girl. Constant spinning wheel kicks. Even if she gets you down, she's a purple belt and her jiu-jitsu is a bit average. She always loses position. So just like green stuff, from a young fighter. I'm sure she will improve. But yeah, Hill is just a lot more well-rounded. A lot more well-rounded. If this goes to decision, I like her decision equity a lot better. The only concern is she does get hurt a lot, and she incredibly frequently in every single round one. Like Lemos, Loopy, Mackenzie Dern, not even the hardest punches. They do punch hard, but not hard enough to get wobbled. So it's almost kind of like a certainty that Gomes is going to wobble her in round one. But and at some point at 39 years of age, I'm kind of nervous about that durability. But she's still tough, man. If I'm not nervous about her getting sub, what she went through against Mackenzie Dern. I'm a little bit nervous about her, maybe getting multiple moments, getting hurt round one, getting hurt round three. Because, Hill has a lot of split decisions for a reason, right? So I'm kind of nervous of that coming back, especially in Brazil. But yeah, I think she should. She is the better girl all around compared to Gomes. So at plus 130, I thought that was a no-brainer. Didn't expect this line. I actually had more on it, but I didn't expect this line to come back. It's come back, and people are playing Gomes. I think people are reacting by her yellow hair. Twitter's weird with the narratives and stuff like that. But yeah, I think this is a pick 'em. If he goes for decision, you can even maybe give Hill a slight favorite. But I think conservatively, I'll give it a pick 'em because of the age difference, improvement, and because it's in Brazil. So yeah.
Real quick, I want to see what the spread is on this. It's definitely going to be minus like 150 or something.
Spreads are unplayable for me, man. There's always a 30-27. We've been seeing it for weeks now.
That's true.
Unplayable. I've been keeping an eye on him just to see if I would have got burned on every single spread that I would have played, and they all should have cashed, but every single 30-27 would have burned me. So I was like, yeah,
minus 210. Yeah, no way. But
horrible.
Yeah. So Angela Hill for me, I mean, I guess I love losing money on her. I would say I love winning money on her, but most of the time she's losing, unfortunately. She kind of started this journey of mine because it was COVID, locked in with my brother. He introduced me to parlays. That was the first thing. And we were filling out the parlay. This was like the second card we were doing it for. We were doing a full card. And I had no idea what I was doing at all. But I went on Reddit. And I was like scrolling on like the Reddit, the sports book, and I saw someone say Hill. And I also saw someone say Nate Landwehr as a dog. So I told my brother, I was like, yo, Landwehr and Hill. And he looked at the plus like 350 on Hill and he's like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, do it. And man, there's a really good argument that she won that fight. She knocked Gadelia down, outstruck her. Probably should have won. Same thing happened with me and Lemos. Really thought she won that fight. Lost that as a huge dog. I actually bet against her in the Torres fight, but I bet her with Yoder, Gomes, Jandaroba, Lemos, Lupi, Ducote, and I bet her against Dern. I think I hit the spread actually and lost that one, but I think she's like way more well-rounded. I really like her striking. Even to this day, I think her striking is really solid. Nice down the pipe, straight, unlike Gomes, who's going to throw wild stuff. I think especially if she's throwing wild stuff, Hill's going to have a decent time countering her. I don't think she's going to struggle too much with that. Like you said, I think the big question mark here is, can Hill like take those shots? I think she can. I really do. Yeah, Gomes hits hard, but like, can we really take too much from that Yaregi and Brazil knockouts? I'm not sure. For me, plus 135 on Hill, that's what I got. I thought that was without a doubt the move. I put a unit on it. I think she wins this more often than not. Slight favorite is what I would have lined it at, like minus 125, minus 130, maybe even a little more. Because, like, for me, the win condition for Gomes here really is like a knockout. So I don't really know how she gets it done in a decision. Like you said, maybe just moment winning. That's going to have to be it. Kind of like a Cheeto Vera situation. But yeah, for me, I think Hill wins. What's the odds now? Plus 117 on Bet Online. I still think you can play that. Up until like Pick'em, I would still play it. I would have played Pick'em if that was the odds I got. So yeah, I like Hill. Just hope she doesn't get chin checked. Hope it holds up.
Can I just say it really makes sense watching how you bet now, considering that you learn how to gamble by learning parlays first and then teaching yourself from Reddit as well. That's just
dude, my early years, you have no idea. I didn't realize you can just round robin stuff on your own, like with the Bet Online. So I'd have a notebook and I'd have my notes, and then after all the notes, I would literally just like write up parlays and then like circle them and cross them around to show myself all the combinations I'm doing. I was an absolute psychopath. I would have like 50 different bets on the card. I was an amateur, man. Still am. I'm no pro.
Stay off Reddit.
Dude, I haven't been on there since there was this one psycho. I forget his username. After he showed up like 2 years ago, I dipped and never went back.
Yeah, it was probably me. I deleted that fucking shitty app.
It really could have been you, but all right, moving on. We've got Vitor Petrino versus Modestas Bukauskas. Petrino 9-0 undefeated. He's going to be 26 years old, 6'2" with a 77-inch reach. Modestas on the other side, he's 15-5-0. He's going to be 3 years older, 1 inch taller, and have a 1 inch reach advantage. I'll start us off here. Speaking of people I like losing money on, Modestas is another one. Even though, you know, recently he's been winning, but I didn't really bet on him when he was in Cage Warriors. I'm pulling him up real quick. Yeah, Michailidis, I bet on him. Crute, I bet on him. Oh, Sejcik, I bet on him, and I think he won that fight. Bet on him against Roundtree, bet on him against Pedro's the dog, and then backed him as the favorite against Pauga in a fight that I think Pauga won, and that was a bad bet. And I'm moving away from him this time. I think Petrino is going to be a bit too much. Modestas is a really good martial artist, but he doesn't do anything. He just shows up to fights and just doesn't do anything, and I don't know why. I think he has all the skills to be very solid. Never a champion, but maybe like 15. I think he could, but he doesn't do anything. He doesn't do much, doesn't do enough. He's always looking to counter. Volume's not there. He's not some grappler who's coming out here and wrestling guys. He's got good takedown defense, but Petrino, he's young, and what I like most about him is like he's just rapidly changing and rapidly improving. And you saw in the last fight, he could have gotten that knockout like 15 times. And you can argue that was bad fight IQ because who knows what would have happened while he was trying to get that sub, but he was in control the whole time. He was looking for that submission, showing off the new grappling game. And we saw that also in the Turkali fight. Going into that one, I did not expect him to grapple at all. And I definitely didn't think he can keep it up. Like, I think he got, 11 takedowns, something crazy like that. He got a ton of takedowns. And you look at the guy, and he's one of these dudes who he's so built and stocky. And like every part of him is just muscle. You think he's going to gas out, especially the way he's throwing strikes. But the cardio holds up. He does slow down, but he keeps it up. The output is there. The power is still there. The takedowns are still there. I think he's just going to be a bit too much for Modestas. I don't hate the dog shot, I guess, because like I could see him outpointing it. I could see him outpointing Petrino, but at the same time, not really. I think Petrino just finishes him. I think he hits too hard. I think he's going to bring too much. I think he's going to overwhelm Modestas. So for me, it's Petrino. Again, parlayed him up before UFC 294. Now I'm really wishing that I just played him straight because I do think he wins, and I think he's a good bet even at the current line. I think minus 220 is fine, and I would have laid just 2.2 to win one, but unfortunately I've got him parlayed up. Don't want to have a 4-unit stake on him, so I'm not going to add, but I think he's going to finish Modestas. How about you, Steve?
Yeah, I think he's going to most likely be a minus EV winner. Just what's his name? Bukauskas, like you said, he's hard to back, that guy, but he's very negative, but he does all the stuff you want from a dog, lots of volume. He's got good cardio. He comes on strong. I bet Pauga by decision at plus 200 in the last one and felt a little bit robbed, to be honest. But watching it back, I mean, I can't complain. He hurt Bukauskas early, and then Bukauskas hurt him like 3 times under round 1, and I would give it to him. And then round 2 was clear Pauga. And then we still had a 30-27 from one of the rogue judges, which killed a lot of people's spread. So the spreads we've been killing even back then. I've been keeping a list of them. But yeah, he's just so negative, and Pauga dropped him in round 3 again or round 2, and it's like he might be doing well, and then he's going to give up a takedown or he's going to give up a big moment to Petrino. Hits a lot harder than Pauga, a lot harder, and he was getting big moments from Pauga as well because he's a good counter striker. And we might get them here. I've got my own questions about Petrino's chin. I've seen him hurt by Bilato, seen him hurt twice by the Pleasure Man, like up kick and then a right hand. But yeah, I just think it's going to be like maybe he cracks him and then he's just going to get taken down or get cracked even harder. And it's in Brazil, and yeah, someone like Bukauskas is such small margins. Small margins. He's got small margins against Lee Chadwick and Cage Warriors. He's winning a 29-28 against a super flat-footed guy like that. And Chuck Campbell up until the random KO out of nowhere. He's just like a guy that loses until his cardio comes in and he kind of beats you. And beating people like Tyson Pedro just die after round 1. So yeah, I get people playing the dog. It's just I see it as a 29-28 split. Doesn't mean it won't hit, but in Brazil against Petrino, not really feeling it. I considered parlaying Petrino. I'm looking at some parlay pieces here just to have some more action. But it's
Big Steve parlays.
Hey, I've got nothing against parlays, man. It's just you just parlay everything. That's the only thing. If the parlay has a bit of value, or if it's a lock, I don't mind it. Last week I just parlayed all the juice. I parlayed Kamzat. I thought it was going to be a minus EV winner, and Makachev. That was plus EV somehow. Didn't expect that, but. Yeah, I'm not against it, man. It's just there's some stuff I wouldn't touch. Like I wouldn't touch the women's fight. And you're already on that a week ago. So,
dude, literally right before 294, I was just like, slamming those parlays, and now
Yeah, you love the parlays. You love parlays. Like I said, I got nothing against them, man. My ROI is pretty good on him. It's just I like my opponent to have minimum chance of upsetting my parlay. And Bukauskas, I think he's got more than a minimum chance. But Petrino's a little bit green still, but who knows? I could come around to it. I saw it at minus 200 on Bet Online, so the line movement is a bit crazy personally. But yeah, it's favorite or pass for me. Actually, I just forgot the only player that I actually kind of like is the overs here.
The over.
Even what's his name? The last guy that Petrino fought. He made it over 2.5, I think. Maybe I'm wrong, but he definitely almost made it to decision. So I'm thinking maybe the over 1.5. Maybe we get something generous. I don't think Petrino hits as hard as some people think. I think he doesn't have one. He's heavy-handed because he's obviously roided up to the gills, but I don't think he has one-punch KO power. I think Bilardo is a little bit chinny. So he deaded him twice, but other than that, couldn't knock out Pleasure Man, and Pedro made that look easy. So I think he drops Old Maiden and just lays on him. So I'm looking at some overs here as a potential play, and I'm definitely not expecting a finish from Bukauskas' side.
Yeah, I usually lean overs, but on this one I can't. Like even with Pragnell, he could have finished him a million times. It was purely because like he just didn't want to go for. I don't know what that was. Like he wasn't doing the knockout, even though he could have gotten it.
Yeah, he proactively grapples now. That's his new game style, which is fine. I think he's gonna do that here because he won't really be able to locate Bukauskas. He's gonna have to. But with Bukauskas, I noticed he's so easy to corner, man. Like he moves a lot, but everyone gets underhooks on him. Like
Pauga held him up for a minute on the fence. No.
Yeah, but he just got there easily. I thought he was gonna be running away, but not. It's just someone like Petrino is gonna rush him and he's gonna get the double unders and then kill the clock. Hopefully.
Yep. All right, moving on. We've got Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos versus Rinat Fakhretdinov. Zaleski's going to be 24-7-0, 36 years old, 5'11" with a 73-inch reach. Rinat on the other side, he's 22-2-0, 32. He's 4 years younger, 1 inch taller at 6 feet, and he's got a 1 inch reach advantage. Start us off, Steve.
Cool. Yeah, this one's definitely a dog or pass for me. I've been on Rinat on the last 2 fights. Regret not having a 2-unit play on him at minus 200 on against Kevin Lee, the washed Kevin Lee. A little bit of money came back on Kevin Lee. It was a surprise. But yeah, I'm not rushing it against Zaleski. If you look at Zaleski, man, he's an absolute beast. I think he's one of the better non-ranked guys in the UFC. His record is like 7-2 or something, 7-3. And he's fought this level of competition, like not level of competition, but this style matchup. Like how many times, how many grapplers have attacked him, and you look back at the BDSD, he's the only guy that made Benoit Saint-Denis look human and look like his chin is not actually made out of steel. But yeah. I mean, it's hard to fade someone like Rinat, they're just so relentless and they've got the cardio to grapple, and even though they're not dangerous on top, or not dangerous or really athletic or anything like that, or have a submission upside, he's just going to keep going, and he's going to rack up a lot of cage time and probably take Zaleski down. But Zaleski he's got great get-ups, man. I played him at Pick'em against the shitty Magomedov, and I thought that was a clear 29-28. I'm not too fussed about the split, but it's just the stuff that he does. He does some silly errors where, he goes for a guillotine, or he tried to take Magomedov's back in round 3 and he fell off, and I was like pulling my hair out. I was like, you were lighting him up on the feet. Just keep, he can't keep it simple. He loves a brawl. So I think the same thing can happen here. Rinat is super unathletic, and people saying he dropped Brian Battle and Brian Battle couldn't get up. Brian Battle has awful takedown defense and he gets dropped by everyone. So it's like it was a good stylistic matchup here. Like, yeah, maybe he drops Zaleski as well, but he's not going to hold him down like he held down Brian Battle. So this is definitely not one I'll be parlaying personally. I don't know if I can play Zaleski just because I feel like he's, again, still in margins. Like, this is a step up from someone like Magomedov. But yeah, I'm looking at overs again. 2.5 at Pick'em. Do we really think Rinat's going to finish Zaleski? Who's did it other than Li Jingliang in China? Like, how's he going to finish him? Just by holding him against the cage? He's got a good guillotine. I don't think anyone's ever submitted Zaleski. He's a good black belt. Yeah, I think the over at Pick'em, I'm eyeing it off. I have to look into it if Rinat has any chin issues, because if there will be a finish, it's probably going to be Zaleski catching him with some meme capoeira stuff. He does like to go for guillotines and Japanese neckties, but I don't think they're the greatest, to be honest. So yeah, it's a dogger pass. I'm looking at the overs.
Yeah, it makes sense to me, but I could not. I'd be ripping out my hair the whole time, stressed. But I get Zaleski as a dog, especially at the current odds. It's what, like plus 285. It makes a lot of sense because he's going to be the better man on the feet. I'm pretty confident in that. I think he's a better striker who has more power. I don't know. Renat seems to have a lot of power. So does Zaleski. So for me, it's a toss up there. But, you know, Zaleski does have really good takedown defense. He does have good get-ups, but he hasn't really wrestled, like fought anyone like Renat. I mean, the closest is probably Nurmagomedov. And then before that, maybe like Omari Akhmedov. But neither of them, in my opinion, are as good like on top as Renat is. And like Abu Bakr is just like not great. And even like he was having a lot of success on the feet. What was it, round one? I was kind of like, I didn't even remember that from watching it live. I was surprised.
He cracked him in the first 10 seconds. And then after that, Zaleski just lit him up for the rest of the round.
Yeah. So, yeah, I do think he's better on the feet. I think Renat's going to get those takedowns. And I think he will get the top control. Maybe a finish, but what you said makes sense. If he wins, it's probably a decision. What's Renat by decision? That's not for sure. One. Let me see. Plus 200. I don't know. I played his money line, but not this one. I got him at minus 235, which I thought was a good price. So I played that. I wouldn't touch it at this point. I wouldn't parlay it. I would leave it alone. Maybe like the over, like Steve said, that does make sense. I'm just getting nervous with Zaleski. He's 36 now. I know he's not that old, but like in fight years, he's ancient. I know Renat has similar, like a similar amount of fights, but not a similar amount of fight time. It's not similar there. Zaleski has fought for a lot more, and he's taken a lot of damage. So I think eventually it'll catch up. Is it here? Probably not, but we'll see. I like Renat, but I wouldn't play him at minus 350.
Fair.
Moving on, we've got Daniel Marcos versus Victor Hugo. Marcos is 15-0, 30 years old, 5'7" with a 69-inch reach. Hugo, 24, 4-0. He's going to be 30 years old, 5'7" as well, 71.5-inch reach, so 2.5-inch reach advantage. I'll start us off here. This one was weird for me. I got to it pretty late. I did it today. And like Hugo, he just fought in the Contender Series. What was it? 3 weeks ago, almost 4 weeks. And I completely passed on that fight. I wanted nothing to do with it. Hugo was coming to 135 for the first time. And I think it was like, I don't remember off. I think it was like 7-8 years, something like that. He hadn't been at 135 for a minute. He had fought at 145 and welterweight for some reason. You would think it's 145, 155. No, he jumped to 170 and 145. Why? I don't know. Came back for 135, made weight, and it looked pretty good. In my opinion, it looked pretty good. He did fight, in my opinion, a bum. There's a reason I stayed away there. I thought Silva was the side, but I couldn't trust him. He didn't fight often. He's very inactive. He does have this really long win streak, but it's like the amount of time between the fights. It's like 1 year, then it's 1 year and 7 months, then 3 years and 10 months ago. Just not very active. He's a pretty solid striker. Lower output than Marcos. I think he might have a little more power in his shots, but I'm not really sure there. I think the grappling is the key for him. He's got great wrestling in the regionals, on the Contender Series. He's always had solid grappling, good jiu-jitsu. I don't really like betting on guys that I know might go for knee bars or ankle locks or any of that stuff. I just don't like it. I feel like most of the time it doesn't work, and then they end up in a bad position. They can get ground and pounded. It just usually doesn't work out. I really hope he doesn't do it here. I know it worked against Torres. I don't think it's going to be the move here. We don't have a ton of information on the takedown defense of Marcos. Most of the time he's defending the shots, but it's like Simon Oliveira shot 5 times, set it up with nothing at all, sloppy shots, nothing with the substance. And then what's his name? Brandon Lewis? Is that him? Yeah, Brandon Lewis, who's like tiny for the division. Took him down twice. Didn't get a ton of control time, but the takedowns weren't very complicated at all. Simple stuff that got him down that Hugo could definitely do. And a guy like Hugo, he's going to have much better top control than a guy like Brandon Lewis. So I think he will have success in the grappling. It will be prolonged. I'm not positive. Don't have a ton of info in his cardio either. in the fight that I was able to watch that went to a decision, it was the Shinsuke Kame fight. He dominated for the most part, but like he's very hittable, I noticed, and he did seem to gas a little bit. It looked like he slowed down quite a bit, but it was good to see. Like in between rounds, he didn't sit on the stool. I like that. It's better to stand. We'll see. There's still a lot of questions with this cardio, and then with Marcos, I still think there's a lot of questions. I don't think he beat Davy Grant. I'm biased. I had Davy Grant there. I guess it was a close fight, but I thought Grant took that one. He's good. He's got good output, but it's nothing. It's not like crazy. I thought he was like throwing 100 strikes in each fight. Not the case. Not the case at all. The most he landed, I think, was in the Simon fight where he got the round 2 finish. He's got really good pressure. He's good at cutting the cage. He's crisp. He's clean. I definitely think he's better on the feet. I think he can find more success there. For me, it really just comes down to what's his grappling defense really like. I don't know, so I can't possibly be playing Daniel Marcos at chalk. Hugo sub opened up at plus 200. I jumped right on it. I took it for 0.2 units to win 1. And then I'm considering the money line. I'm curious what you think, Steve, but at plus 200, plus 206, I'm kind of tempted. He's fighting at home. I know it's short notice, but he just came out of a fight. Had a camp for that one. Didn't take much damage at all. And he's got the grappling upside, so I'm tempted. But what are you thinking?
Yeah, so I taped this one. Same stuff that you say about Hugo. It's pretty straightforward stuff. I taped him twice for Contender Series. You know, I like to do 2 times the tape for Contender just because there's a lack of tape, and I kind of slow it down. And the last fight I taped for Hugo was like this Fight TV fight where I was just trying to find anyone that's a high-level opponent because, like you said, his tape is so weird. He's like 20-something and 2. I never heard of the guy, and he's fought all around the world, and I'm like, who the hell is this guy? This is an amazing record. And yeah, it's just a bunch of weird nomad opponents. And this guy was kind of semi-good, and I was like, all right, this is on Fight TV. Let's watch it. And all I saw was he was switching stances and checking kicks. And I was like, all right, this guy is a good striker. Like that's all I needed to see. And then it was about to go into round 2. He wasn't having his way with this guy. And then the guy broke his hand, and it was a doctor stoppage. I was like, damn it. Like this one high-level opponent, and he wasn't cruising, and just it didn't play out. But then I went to play him anyway, just because of the striking, because I knew he had the grappling. He obviously grapples a lot for a striker, and then someone steamed the line, you know. So obviously his line, it was Pick'em, then he closed a decent favorite on Contender Series, and then obviously he covered. So I've had that in my mind when this fight got made, and I personally like when people just recently fight. You know, we see Trey Waters, we see all these Marcus McGee. LFA dudes, they fought in title fights, they fought in good spots, and they're probably still in shape, 2-3 weeks later. So this guy fought a bantamweight, and which is probably his natural weight class, and it's in Brazil, so he doesn't have to fly out. I assume he trains in Brazil still. I'm not too sure. I don't know much about his gym.
Yeah, he does.
So yeah, he doesn't have to fly out. I think Marcos is training in America now, so he actually does have to fly out, even though Peru is closer to Brazil.
Do you know where he's at?
What was that?
Do you know where he is, Marcos?
I thought it was at Extreme Couture from when he took that massive layoff, and then he moved to America from Peru, and then in Contender Series he had massive improvements.
I think he's been in Florida somewhere.
Yeah, I think he's been improving since. So yeah, he's the one actually flying, even though he's from Peru. But yeah, I taped it, and I definitely thought it was wide. That line. I know Marcos well. I think I lost money. I tried to fade him with Oliveira. It was horrible play. Oliveira is just an absolute bum. But Hugo with all that experience, it's like you can tell that he's good everywhere, man. He's good in the striking. He can switch stances. He's obviously got that wrestling that he uses more than his striking. He's got an overhand right. Like he obviously can stay safe on the feet. He checks kicks. I think he's very cocky and he's very confident because of all the experience that he has. But there's some stuff that's put me off. Like I have questions about his cardio. Like even that fight that you just referenced where he won a 3-round decision and you said he looked dominant. He was kind of done halfway through the round, but luckily he could still get the takedowns. His takedowns seem a little bit forced, kind of like Oliveira's. Like they don't seem amazing, but he just kind of pushes the pace. I don't like the fact that he drops for heel hooks. Obviously, it worked out for him in Contender Series and against a bunch of other bums. I don't like that here. Marco seems really well schooled and smart, on at least in all aspects of MMA. Like his takedown defense is good. When he does get taken down, his get-ups are good. So I just have this feeling like Hugo is going to do the usual thing and he's going to gas himself out, kind of like Oliveira. Even in Contender Series, he took that Chilean down, and round 2, he was getting stuck against the cage by the Chilean. The Chilean was out grappling him, and he just looked like he was huffing and puffing, and then he dropped down for a perfect knee bar, and Chilean had no idea how to defend it. So I still have questions about this guy. We're seeing the most recent tape at his weight class in Contender Series, but he just doesn't answer my questions. I got cock teased. He made it to round 2. He started to slow it down, and then he ended again. And it's like, how would he look in round 3? Would he struggle to get takedowns? I feel like he would. I don't want to be, even though he's a decent sized dog, and I think there's some value, I don't want to be on him in rounds 2 and 3 when he's jumping down for heel hooks. Marco's getting out and then just ground and pounding him on top, and he's just flaking. I just wrote in question marks, cardio and IQ, Brazilian IQ. So I think I'm just going to pass and lie better. But Marcos, this is a tough opponent. Like, he's had really bad opponents. Brandon Lewis is awful. Oliveira obviously fought he just gassed himself out after 3 takedowns. And Grant is a good opponent, and he didn't look that great there. He had a striking fight, which is what he wanted, and he was competitive, and he didn't really separate. So I don't think he's on the eye. He's very good. He's very technical. I like the way he's trained, but I don't think he's amazing. And I'm not definitely going to be playing this number on a guy like Hugo, who's very schooled in all aspects of MMA. So it's a dog or pass. I haven't got around to it yet. I don't know how I feel about submission. I don't know if Hugo's submissions would really work on someone that's decent. So it's a pass all around for now.
What do you think of the under at -145?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit. I see a lot of people think that Marcos can get a KO. I don't have passion it takes about it.
It would have to be late if Silva does have bad cardio.
Yeah, I mean, how many people have finished Hugo? I kind of feel like he has good durability. It's hard to tell. There's just too many question marks at minus money for me to play the under. I'm really bad at under 2.5s, I've noticed. It's not like 1.5s for me.
Yeah, the only thing I think I'm profitable on is over 1.5s. That's the only one I'm decent at. I'm not good at unders.
I think I with the 2.5s, I start looking into cardio and stuff, and then it doesn't come into play. Whereas under 1.5s, there's usually no cardio involved. It's 1.5 rounds, and if I can cap it right, it usually hits. But yeah, too many questions about the under here. If I was going to play anything, it would just be Hugo as a dog shot.
Yeah, it makes sense. I might just leave it alone with my sub, but I might also get to the money line. Maybe just a half unit shot, but we'll see. For the next one, do you know if Brenner Ribovich is officially off?
No, no one does. I reckon we should just do it just in case, because
I was going to say that too. Yeah, why not?
There's no official announcement, and Brenner is still signing posters 2 hours ago on his story, but Ribovich has been dark for a few days. Yeah, so which makes me believe that maybe he's the one that's injured, and they may be looking at keeping him on the card, which is, I do have a play on him, which is
they got a replacement.
It's a bit scary. If he comes in injured or something, and I'll take some injections, it's probably going to be off.
All right, yeah. So let's hop into it. We got Elvis Brenner versus Esteban Ribovich. Brenner 15-3-0. He's 26 years old. 5'10" with a 72-inch reach. I do believe he's still at shoot box. Ribovich 12-1-0. He's 27, 1 year older. Same height, 3-inch reach disadvantage. Do you know where he trains now?
Who's this?
Ribovich.
He's at Killcliff.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I just wasn't positive. But why don't you start us off?
Cool. So this is my other money line play. I locked it in. I think I locked it in before Angela Hill, also last week. So if this is off, it'll kind of suck. I'm a lot more confident in Ribovich. The line is also much better. I got plus 170, and yeah, I've got questions about 39-year-old Hill. Whereas here, I'm really confident there's a chance Ribovich could look slight favorite. Anywhere from slight favorite to pick him to Brenner being a slight favorite as well. But even then, the line that I have, he's a moderate dog. So yeah, I just think a massive overcorrection on Brenner, who's is a punching bag, typical shooter box punching bag, and that works a lot of the time. But he worked against a really low output Tahugov. Pardon me, there's so many of these dudes. Who's just a massive gas bag, and they cut him after that. Good riddance as well. I say I hate watching that guy fight. And then he's before Guram, who Guram is good, but I remember taping that fight. And I had a parlay with Guram, and a lot of people in my Discord cracked it because I cashed it out, and some people didn't get to cash it out. And I was like, nah, there's Guram is not as good as people think, man. There's something I don't. It's kind of just like a big moments guy. A lot of kicks, a lot of big moments, and when he gets taken down, he gets up and he kind of slows down. And I'm like, this kind of style with all these injuries, at some point, is going to catch up to him. I hate, somewhat a shooter box guy is going to bring out the flake in him. And then he went in there and he beat the piss out of Brenner in round 1, round 2, and then he just randomly gets knocked out. He started to slow it down. So I don't know how anyone can play, minus money on Brenner, on someone that's so hittable with that defense. He's basically losing until he wins. And on the other side, Ribovic, he's not someone that's going to gas out. He's not someone that's going to be submitted. Good get-ups. I played him against Loic. I played him against Kirk. Big dog against Loic. Slight favorite against Kirk. No regret. Happy with both players. I kept both of them perfectly. Loic has no control whatsoever. But I think he does have probably the best wrestling out of anyone that Ribovic has fought. Kirk, on the other hand, has amazing control. I think he's a second-degree black belt. When I played him, I thought I was probably going to win a 29-28 with Kirk maybe backpacking him. I was just hoping he doesn't get submitted. That's exactly what happened. But then, retaping it, I didn't like how Kirk was still getting takedowns in rounds 2 and 3. But I think Kirk is much better upper weight class. He usually gasses a lot quicker at featherweight. But yeah, I like everything from Ruiz, man. He knows how to turn it on and throw his hands when he's been taken down. He needs to steal the round. So ultimately, I think this would have been a war. Let's just say hopefully it's still on. Would have been a war, and Ribovic does everything I like. Get ups, cardio, good volume, good power. Someone's going to knock out Brenner one of these days, and hopefully it's Ribovic. But if not, I just think he's going to most likely win a competitive decision.
Yeah, I really hope this fight's not off, man. I think this is the best fight on the card, probably. Did we have any Brazilian 155ers they might sign short notice?
Oh, they're in Brazil, man, so I'm sure there's plenty of options.
I'm thinking off the Contender Series, I mean.
No, I think...
Was Pratev? He was 170, right?
No, he was definitely signed, bro. I think if there's a Brazilian on Contender Series and he's not a heavyweight, they're usually signed. I haven't seen a boring Brazilian.
Even one of the guys they signed on short notice, I'm saying, to bring them on.
Yeah, they'll find someone, man.
Yeah.
I just hope this fight's not. This is literally the best fight in weeks.
Yeah, I was on the other side. I did play Brenner, but I got him at minus 135. I thought that was a good price. I do think he has some advantages to him. I like his game a little bit more. You mentioned he's hittable, but so is Ribovic. Ribovic is pretty hittable also. He doesn't have a great defense. There's going to be a war on the feet. I like Brenner a little bit better there. And I just think that Brenner had a little bit more to offer with the grappling also. He's not some stud grappler, not some stud wrestler. And Ribovic has shown pretty good takedown defense, but I think it's something he can mix in. I think it's something he could use. And I think his jiu-jitsu is pretty good as well. Nothing crazy, but it's definitely solid. And at minus 135, I felt that was a good price. I think where we're at now is more accurate, minus 155. But yeah, now we don't even know if it's on. I'm not going to waste a ton of time on this. I think it's a super close fight, and I don't blame anyone on the dog. I think you got plus 170, Steve, you said?
Yeah, it would suck if that went off.
That's definitely the side. If you got that number, I think Ribovic was the play. Minus 135, though. I felt like Brenner was a spot. We'll see. We'll see if this plays out, but let's not waste too much time on it. We've got up next Ismael Bonfim versus Vinc Pichel. Bonfim, he's 19-4-0, 27 years old, 5'8" with a 71-inch reach. On the other side, we got Pichel, 14-3-0. He's 40 years old, but he's about to turn 41. 5'10", he's 2 inches taller, and he's going to have a 1-inch reach advantage. And he's at Factory X now, which I guess is good, but I think he's been there for a minute. I want to play Pichel, man. I want to play Vinc Pichel. I really do. Feel like he can mix it up. He's got decent grappling, but I think it's kind of silly to look at Bonfim's last fights and be like, yeah, he's been subbed 4 times, got taken down by Saint-Denis. Pichel could do it for sure. I don't think so. I don't think that's the case. Saint-Denis got the takedowns, but he also had a bunch of them stuffed, and he's also huge and extremely physical. And Pichel just, he's bigger here, but he's no Saint-Denis. And then with Terrence McKinney, say what you want about Terrence McKinney, but in round 1, when he has gas, his wrestling is very good. And Bonfim stuffed him completely, defended anything he brought to him. Bonfim should win. He should win. 27, he's almost 14 years younger. His boxing is extremely crisp. I really like his striking. I think the ground game, there's still questions. Going into the last one, people were saying, yeah, Saint-Denis won't sub him, though. The only people who subbed him are guys like Moicano and that was back in 2014. But then Santini did it too, and like, could Pichel mix it up with his striking to make this greasy and use the wrestling? I think he can. And on the feet, yeah, Bonfim's cleaner, but Pichel will bring it. He'll bring the output. He's going to stay there. I don't think he's going to get knocked out here. It's possible age finally catches up. He's only been knocked out once. I think it was Khabilov, if I'm saying his name right. And yeah, I really want to bet him, but I know I shouldn't. He's 41 almost. He's slowing down for sure. And like, we don't have too much info with him recently with strikers, like how he's really going to look on the feet when he's getting hit by hard shots, because he's fighting Mark Madsen, Hubbard, Miller, Roberts. Three guys. The first three primarily grapplers. Roberts mixed bag. I think Roberts is terrible, but yeah, I'll pick Bonfim to win. Probably going to stay off. Maybe if it gets crazy, I'll throw a little bit on Pichel. How about you, Steve?
Yeah, I'm not interested, man. This 40-year-old. I've been on the Pichel train a lot. The Roberts fight, he was a massive underdog. The Hubbard fight, I think that's the one time he won like clear. And yeah, and I was on him actually against Madsen, and it pissed me off so much. He's a bit stupid. He can be taken down. He's small margins. He almost lost to Jim Miller, even though I live, but I put a bomb on him live. And I'm like, yeah, it's 1-1 going into the third, and Jim's going to gas. And Jim was winning for 2 minutes of that third round. So I can't trust the guy. He's old. That was back in 2020. It's 3 years later. He's even more old now. And yeah, I think he has small margin decision win in Brazil. But I think Bonfim is too well-rounded. He's got good striking, good boxing. His hips are good. I don't think his takedown defense is bad whatsoever. And he's probably going to be able to take down Pichel easier than Pichel can take him down. So yeah. If I was going to parlay something, it would be this Bonfim brother with something.
You do it over the other one, Steve?
I guess we'll talk about it soon enough.
Yeah, I feel like the older brother's better, but we'll talk about it. Moving on, we've got Rodolfo Vieira versus Armen Petrosyan. Vieira 9-2-0. He's 34 years old, 6 foot tall at the 73-inch reach. Petrosyan 8-2-0. He's 33, 1 year younger. 3 inches taller, and he's going to have a 2-inch reach disadvantage. Start us off, brother.
Right. This is a good one, man. This is a good one. I wish I took money on Vieira when, some Petrosyan action came in, which was maybe around a week ago or so. I felt like usually on pick'em fights, I don't have a good read. Rarely I do. They usually seem accurately aligned from my experience, and this one kind of feels the same. I'm not rushing to play anything. If I was gun to my head, I'll personally pay Vieira. If I was going to pay Petrosyan, I don't think anyone should. I think you might be on him, but I don't think you can play anyone like Petrosyan when he's going to give up a takedown in round one, like 90% of the time. Awful takedown defense. I think takedown defense stats, I don't really care about stats, is like 30%. And that's only thanks to Duncan's horrible performance and Duncan's horrible attempts, UK wrestling getting stuffed like 3 out of 3 times. If he didn't stuff those 3 takedowns, what would his takedown defense be? I think 0%. So he can get taken down by anyone. And Rodolfo, he's very explosive, man. When he locks his hands behind your hips, you're going for a ride. Super juiced guy. On all the gear back in his jiu-jitsu career. Obviously, he's probably not on all the gear now with the SADA, but that stuff stays. You can see he built that body thanks to a lifetime of gear in jiu-jitsu. They don't test at all. So, yeah, he's beast, man. I think he's going to be taking down old mate, round 1, round 2. I think there's even a potential that he can take him down in round 3. See Caio Borralho, who we're going to talk about soon enough. He was a bit of a weasel as well. He slowed down a lot. And, yeah, he just stayed safe and shot a takedown, and he got one in every single round. A lot of people planting their flag, Petrosyan's going to knock him out late or Vieira's going to submit him early. I'm not confident. I think Vieira loses position a lot, especially from the back. I don't think he's really a rear naked choke guy. The only rear naked choke he had in his UFC career is Dustin Stoltzfus, and that was a very opportunistic back take. Super high level, I'll give him that. That was an amazing finish. The way he jumped on it, was such a big guy. But yeah, everyone else, he had Safarov's back, he had Hernandez's back, Brundage's back, and he lost all those back takes, and he's fallen off. So he's, like I said, he was a gi guy in his jiu-jitsu career. So it's much easier to do some stuff in the gi. Obviously, no gi, it's slippery, and he's losing a lot of things. But he loves it. He loves the arm triangle choke. So if he can get the arm triangle choke, I'll be more confident that he will get a round 2 sub over Petrosyan. But we've never seen Petrosyan flat on his back because he always gives up his back. So I feel like every time he hits a takedown, Petrosyan's going to give up his back. Vieira's going to go for it. He might ground him. But like I said, everyone that's defended their neck, even Cody Brundage, the absolute flake, they ended up getting out of the rear naked. So I think it's going to be, one of those fights. Vieira stays competitive on the feet. He's got a very nice jab, 1-2. I like his footwork. I think he's improved a lot. And Petrosyan probably just edges it. He's got amazing volume. He's a good guy to back. He's kind of like Bukauskas, but better. Amazing kicking volume. So if he's going to stare at him waiting to take him down, he's going to be racking up the volume. So I think Petrosyan can edge it on the feet, but he might not throw as much because there's a takedown coming. And he also kicks a lot. That AJ Dobson in the first round didn't really attempt wrestling, but every time he caught a kick, he got an instant takedown and a back take. So that's going to be live as well. And yeah, I think it's just most likely Petrosyan's going to get up. He's going to give his back. He's going to survive, and the round's going to play out close. And then round 2 is going to start again. Vieira's going to get another takedown, and I think it might just come down to what's more important. The takedowns and the control, or the kicking on the outside. I like the over here, which is pretty scary. With the submission upside, and people think that Vieira might be a bit chinny, bit gassy, but I think Vieira has an iron chin. Maybe I'm wrong here. He was eating absolute bombs from Fluffy Hernandez while gassed. He had a clean head kick. Hernandez hits hard. He ended up getting guillotined. If he didn't get guillotined, I don't think he was going to get KO, to be honest, unless he was from exhaustion. Curtis was destroying him. Curtis hits a lot harder. And yeah, he got dropped hard by Cody Brundage, but I think Cody hits harder than Petrosyan, at least in the hands. So yeah, I think this could potentially go over. I look at the over 1.5 on Bet365 when it opens up. I think it's the under 2.5 on Bet Online, and it's a bit chalky. But I might even play that over, man. I might even play that over. Like the only concern for me is Rodolfo jumping on the neck. But I think from what I've seen from Petrosyan, he has high level submission defense. He's one of those guys that probably gets put there a lot in training, and you see even the Russians on the Russian regional scene, man, they have his back and they just can't submit him. Even Gregory Rodriguez, even Kaue, and people are going to say Rodriguez is not that good of a submission grappler, blah blah blah.
Yes, yeah. He is.
Yeah, but you can tell that he knows how to defend, man. That I had money on him against RoboCop, and when he had that Suluev stretch, I was like, no, this is done, dude. And you see, he's fighting hands, man. His nose is bloodied, his leg is all the way stretched, and he's just fighting hands. He's calm, he's relaxed. He actually knows how to defend almost every sub. So I don't think I have a plus EV spot at Pick'em, but I'll definitely be playing Vieira pre, and I'll look to live bet Petrosyan, in rounds 2 or 3, depending how Vieira's gas tank holds up. But I'm leaning overs again. I think it's going to be a low output fight where, low volume, takedowns, no subs, kind of like the Stolfus, kind of like the Curtis fight. So
I think I played the over in the Curtis fight. I'm pretty sure.
It's a beautiful play, man. Beautiful play.
It was like +3 something. It was something insane.
You played the go the distance, I think, and it was insane numbers. And I remember kicking myself for missing it and just not putting like $100 on it. It wasn't even on my radar.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the other side, obviously, like you said. I played him at -120, Petrosyan.
Beautiful line. Beautiful line.
I hate you.
As good as it gets. As good as it gets.
Reverse COV every damn time. But you know what? I usually don't cash the COV bets. I usually cash the reversed ones. So screw it. For me, it came down to this. Like, who's going to be more of a minute winner? Probably Petrosyan. Yes, Vieira can win a bunch of minutes just having Petrosyan on his back, and he probably has maybe some kind of hometown advantage in the decision, even though I don't really believe in that. But I don't see him doing a tremendous amount of damage. If he can't get the subs, he's just going to be holding him down. Like you said, Petrosyan has really good submission defense. His takedown defense sucks, like you said, but his get-ups are good. And while he does give his back, he is trying to keep his back against the fence. He's trying to do the right things, rake it against the fence, get back up. And I think it's only going to improve. I mean, it's been happening literally his entire career. He knows what guys want to do to him. Like you said, since the regionals, Russian dudes just trying to take him down. On the Contender Series fight he had, guy was just taking him down until he gassed out. And I just think he can. I think he can survive. And on the feet, I like him a lot more. Vieira, I think his striking is actually a little underrated. And I don't remember if I ended up doing it, but I definitely considered backing him against what's his face, Chris Curtis, because I thought he can, do his own on the feet too. Because I think his striking solid, but I think Petrosyan is much better on the feet. He's hard to catch. He moves laterally a lot. And I think he's just going to make Vieira uncomfortable. And as the fight goes on, I'm going to be more and more confident in him because I like his cardio a lot. I think it's going to hold up. And can't really say the same about Vieira. I'll give Vieira credit, though. I mean, he was shooting takedowns into the third round with Chris Curtis. It's not easy to shoot 20 takedowns and then still be throwing strikes. So I don't think his cardio is as horrible as people are saying, but I do think he'll slow down. I think Petrosyan will take over. And just on the feet, I think he's the better guy. I think you brought up a good point, though, that I'm a little nervous about with the kicks because he does throw a ton of kicks. And Vieira could definitely take advantage, and that would really suck. But hopefully he can keep it up there. And when he does get taken down, hopefully he gets back up.
What I will add, I agree about the cardio. I think it's nerves. Rodolfo used to get nervous, and he said he gets petrified about fighting in the octagon. And I think he's just, as he's getting more comfortable fighting in the UFC, he's just controlling his breath and stuff like that. Because, he took an absolute beating from Fernandes. And
I think I parlayed him in that fight, too.
Yeah, and Curtis as well. Like, that cardio was fine, man. Like, he 29-28, but I remember I was on Curtis and I was sweating a little bit.
Yeah, definitely thought it looked pretty good there. But moving on, we've got a good one. We got Caio Borralho versus Abus Magomedov. Borralho, 14-1-0. He's 30 years old, 6'1" at the 75-inch reach, training out of the very hot Fighting Nerds right now. Magomedov, 25-5-1. He's 33, going to be 3 years older. Steve's holding up his glasses.
I'm not holding them. They're floating.
You think we don't see the string?
What string, bro?
6'2", he's 1 inch taller, and he's gonna have a 3-inch reach. I swear, I'm on here with a child. A 3-inch. You're on
here with a child. I'm gonna send the Catch a Predator crew to your house. I caught you on tape saying you're at home with a child.
You're 30 years old, Steve.
Live on tape. Couch Warriors. I'm in my room at home with a child. I've caught that. I've clipped it.
Oh Lord. Okay, moving on to this fight. Borralho's a guy who I have backed every single time, except where when I didn't. I tried to fade him on a second Contender Series fight with Jesse Murray. Because I was like, dude, why is this guy minus whatever he was, like 800 or something? Like, why is he that wide? And then he showed me why he's that wide.
Did you not tape the other guy?
What's up?
Did you not tape Murray?
I mean, first off, I think there was like one fight on him.
There was enough. There was enough to know why he was.
I was going with the puncher's chance, man. I got like a crazy plus number. But anyways, I learned my lesson, and I've only backed Borralho since then. It's made me a good amount of money. Chalky favorite a lot of the time. Not always, though. But, I'm hesitant to back him here. And I thought I'd be all over him. I thought I'd be parlaying him with the other people I did, but this feels like a dangerous fight. And my main problem is we don't really have any information at all on the defensive grappling of Abus. We have no idea. He's not really defending takedowns. It hasn't really happened that often. Like, people don't really shoot on him too much. And when he's wrestling himself, it looks pretty good. I think his offensive grappling is solid. I think his ground game is solid. He's good on the ground, strong on the ground, good ground and pound, threatens the subs. But I just don't know what his takedown defense is like. And I don't know if he's getting pushed, if he can hold, like if he's getting pushed in the grappling, if that cardio is going to hold. I give him a little bit of slack breaking against Sean Strickland, because Sean Strickland is just that kind of guy who breaks you with that pressure. That's just his thing. That's what he does. He breaks people. But again, Borralho could do that just in a different way. He could do it with the grappling. I can't confidently play Borralho, even though I think he has a really big cardio edge, and I think he has a really big grappling edge, especially in the jiu-jitsu, and his wrestling's pretty good too. Shoots a little sloppy sometimes, but he sets it up well, and his control's really good, especially once he takes the back. Getting him off of you is tough. He had a rough fight with Muradov. I know he won, but I didn't think that was a great look. I had him there, but I just felt like he got tired. Muradov found success on the ground. He was definitely finding success on the feet. Borralho, he's a good striker, but I think he's a little limited there. I think the output is a little limited. And I'm kind of kicking myself for not playing Abus when he was plus 295. I feel like that was a decent spot. What is it, Lou?
Oh no, that sucks.
If we know the guy, we can break it down right now. Let me see. Pulling up Twitter. Kanan Kruszewski.
The Brazilian bum.
Is that the dude who beat
He got a rear naked choke round 1 over that Martello dude from Serra Longa.
Oh yeah.
He's got double sleeve tattoos. He's like a Muay Thai guy, and
I don't remember him well enough to break it down, honestly.
Yeah, he's how can you not remember a Brazilian with a Polish last name?
Don't remember, dude.
He's not very memorable, I'll give you that.
Yeah, I'm still remembering my Murtaza Talia bet at minus 300. No, actually, I got my value. I think I got like minus 265 on that, dude.
Nice, bro. I love when the value check comes in and I can pay my bills with it. Takes the pressure off.
Bellotto was such a good play there, man.
No, tell me about it.
But all right, yeah, that sucks that Brenner has that they replaced Ribovic, but at least there's a replacement. Break that down. If I bet anything, I'll post it like always. But yeah, I'm kicking myself. I didn't play plus 295 on Abus. I think that on the feet, he's much better. I like his striking a lot. I really like the front kicks, and I think he has a ton of power. And I have, like I said, we don't know what the takedown defense looks like, but I have a feeling that it's decent because his offensive wrestling is good. And normally you train both. We've seen plenty of guys who are good offensively and terrible defensively. So again, we don't know. But at plus 295, I feel like it was worth the shot. Now, not so much. For me, it's just a pass. Maybe Borralho late submissions. Pretty square look, but I think it's probably what happens if Borralho wins. I mean, he could win a decision too, don't get me wrong, but Abus does gas, and I do think Borralho will be able to get that sub if he does actually gas out like that again. But again, I'm passing for now. Borralho's the pick. How about you, Steve?
I have to agree. I have to agree with everything, man. I was close on Abus. You know, this guy's not bad. This guy's not bad. The reason I can't play him is I still have the same questions I had against bloody Sean Strickland. You know, he's lost to the champion now, and can I just say he's a bum because he lost to the champion in the UFC? I want to see more middle of the road matchups. You know, like not as bad as Dustin Stolfus, not as good as Strickland. Like, give me someone. His whole career is like that. He's got that one KO loss to put him up. You know, Taylor, where he's just a glancing lead left hook, and he's out before he hits the ground. He's out cold, and I haven't seen any chin issues since then. Like, even if his chin was that bad, Strickland would have put him out in round 1. And then, you know, I watch his. I think cardio is an issue because you watch his fight back in 2018 against Sadabusi, and I mean he was ragdolling Sadabusi, and you know, you see no one can really grapple Sadabusi these days. He's improved a lot since then. He's ragdolling him, and he kind of slows down in rounds 3, and Sadabusi gets his back in round 3. So the cardio is always an issue, even back in 2018. The best fight to probably watch is the Kessel fight in KSW. He goes into round 2. Kessel tries to take him down multiple times. He gets taken down once, but he has the guillotine and he pops straight back up, and which, you know, leads me to believe that he probably has. I mean, from his offensive wrestling, I'd like to believe that he has probably good defensive wrestling as well. Like he's a beast. You can tell he's a grappling beast. But yeah, I don't like the fact that, you know, he goes for that guillotine. Although in round 2, when Kessel tried it again, he put him out cold in like 10 seconds. So he's a very tight guillotine. Probably doesn't want to be doing that against Caio Borralho here. But yeah, he's good, man. I remembered why I was tempted by that line against Strickland. Only reason I didn't play it is because it was a favorite line, and I love my boy Strickland. Yeah, it's hard. I'm never going to fade my boy. You know, and I was down that card, and I just ended up laying like $2,000 on Strickland, $1,000 in round 1, and then round 2 for some reason he was still like not a massive favorite, and I just put some more on when Abus looked done. But I got reminded why I wanted to play him. Like, he's super dangerous early. I actually played 2 units on him as a $1.40 favorite against Stolfitz, and I was like, no one was talking about it. Everyone was freaked out by him making his debut, and I was kind of looking for validation. I was like, I don't want to have $2,000 on this $1.40 favorite. This is such a square play. And I was like talking to anyone. All my friends were like, nah, I've got weird vibes about it. And I was like, shit. So I reduced. And then, I mean, tell me he didn't cover that line. It looked 95%. One up kick to the front and then just puts him out. I think he's a good fighter. We've seen, what do we see? That fight that you just mentioned, the Muradov fight. Muradov took him down in every single round, man. Well, like, there's a lot of stuff that I've seen with Caio, and I played him in both the Contender Series fights. Played him by finish in the second one because I actually did take Murray. and I saw that he was an absolute bum. But yeah, there's always issues. 29, 28 against Jeffrey, he always slows down. He's a weasel. He doesn't throw much late, and he just kind of looks to get that takedown. He lost round 1 clear to Lord Mikhail, who's getting lit up, like literally lit up. He was eating every single shot, but at least we saw that his shin's good, which probably helps in this matchup. But I do think Abus hits like a truck, man. I think Abus hits very hard and he's dangerous early. And I think he can probably stuff the takedowns. I mean, when has Lord Mikhail ever had good takedown defense? He stuffed like 4 or 5 from Caio. So he can be stuffed and he can be taken down, as we saw from Muradov. And Muradov is very unlucky that every single time he got a takedown, he got guillotined and reversed with it. So it was very bummy behavior by Muradov. If Abus can take him down and stay safe, like this line is going to look super square, man. Super square. But then, because I have more questions about Abus, it's kind of like the Hugo fight. Again, I still have his level of competition and his cardio. I just want to see him. This is a good matchup. This guy's not as good as Strickland. He's not as bad as Stolfitz. I think this is going to give us a lot of answers. But yeah, I mean, even at this line, I can't fault anyone. I can fault people parlaying it. It's probably going to win, and people are going to be saying, "Oh yeah, my parlay hit, beautiful parlay." But I can't fault anyone hitting the dog shot here. Like, I think Abus is dangerous. If he can just do a slightly better variation of Muradov's game plan, even Armen Petrosyan, he fell off Armen's back and he ended up on bottom, and he loses position for a very good jiu-jitsu guy. He loses position. I'm inclined to believe Abus can stay safe on the ground. So maybe I'm a pansy. Like +2 something is still a massive number on someone to fade Abus. Maybe I'm a pansy. He's also taking this on short notice and he's flying out to Brazil. That's another thing. But I think that's baked into this line. Like, would he ever be this much of an underdog if he wasn't short notice?
I feel like, yeah, probably. People are so low on him now. So low on him.
That's retarded. Like, how can you be so low on him, like losing to Strickland? Like, in an alternate universe, Strickland round 1 KO is easy Adesanya. Like, if it doesn't work his way up against the cage after being dropped, and he's eating those brutal American ground and pound shots. Yeah. But yeah, it's a dog or pass, easy dog or pass. Some people were saying, they're going back to the well with Borralho round 2, round 3 sub. I mean, it's so square, but it's probably going to hit here, right? If Abus gasses again. All I needed to see was Sadabusi take his back in round 3. Surely Caio can capitalize, but he doesn't submit many people. Lord is the only guy submitted in the UFC, so not much I can say. Dog or pass, easy dog or pass.
Yeah, I'll probably get to those round 3 and round 2 sub props though, more than likely. Plus 1,200 on the round 3, plus 850 on round 2. I'll only play them if they're better on domestic.
What was the prices? My bad, I tuned out.
Plus 850 on the round 2 sub, plus 1,200 on the round 3 sub.
That's not bad at all, man. Like, you think the bookies would have caught on?
I feel like it should be a little better than that.
Nah, not after him round 2 subbing Mikhail.
Fair enough, yeah. And then Abus falling off a cliff.
And then also Abus getting finished in round 2. Like, surely, yeah. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. I thought it was going to be unplayable.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully FanDuel gives me a little bit better, but we'll see. Moving on, though. We have a rematch absolutely nobody asked for. We have Rodrigo Nascimento versus Dante Almeida. I don't know how this happened, but here it is. Nascimento is 10-1-0. He's 30 years old, 6'2" with an 80-inch reach. On the other side, you have Mays. He's 10-5-0, 31 years old. He's 1 inch taller. 6'6". He's going to have 1 year older. 6'6". He's 4 inches taller, and he's gonna have a 1 inch reach advantage. Starts off, Steve.
Cool. So the first initial thought, looking at the lines, knowing these guys quite well, I thought dog or pass this time around, even though I'm well aware how the first fight went. I see people talking about it. It's a popular thing. Money coming in on old Mayers, and then I did the tape, and I would rather play the favorite Nascimento personally. I can't trust Mayers. He's horrible. He likes to fight like Dominic Cruz, and he's got IQ issues. He's got flakiness issues, durability. I think even Arlovsky might have hurt him in that round 1 before he came back and knocked him out. It's people, someone like Sakai just shut him down easily and 30-27 them. Sakai was extremely flat-footed, and he just held him against the cage, and yeah, he's just not someone that's going to fight for my money, And Nascimento is at least going to, come forward and pressure, and his hands are a lot better. He doesn't. He's a lot simple. It's a little more simple, just jab 1-2. But when he's got good combinations. He hurt a lot of people. He hurt Latifi. He hurt Boza in round 1. So he's got good power in his hands. It's just the issue with Nascimento is his wrestling's pretty average. He's flat-footed, and he can be cracked, man. He's been hit in every single fight. He got knocked out by Dorcas. Obviously, not the worst thing. Dorcas was on a little streak, round 1 KO streak back then. I played him as a massive underdog there. And, but then, got hurt by Boza, got hurt by Alan Badeau. Like, come on. Like, he's definitely live to get chin checked by Mayers here. I don't think he would get knocked out, but yeah, I feel like maybe it's accurate. It's accurate, but by fight time, I think I might even force it and play the favorite. In Brazil, he's going to keep coming forward, and even though his wrestling is bad, he has that ground game. If he does end up on the ground, man, that's where he's going to look massive favorite. So yeah, it's a favorite to pass. Hopefully, more square money comes in on Dontel, and yeah, I jump on the favorite. Well, yeah. I love sweating Nascimento chalk.
Yeah, I'm hoping for the same thing. I'm on Nascimento. It's favorite or pass for me without a doubt. And it's like, yeah, obviously part of that is because of how the first fight went. I mean, he got hurt, and Mays was landing good shots, but
he gets hurt every single fight, man.
Yeah, but even in the striking, like, Nascimento's boxing is pretty good. He's a pretty good striker. He's got heavy hands. He's pretty fast. Sleek. And I just don't think enough has changed where this fight's going to be tremendously different. Like, maybe you can say, yeah, Mays has been with John Jones now for 2 years. So is Maurice Green, and look how that worked out for him in PFL.
Yeah, he's got to win. He's got to win in PFL.
He does. He has 1 win.
But, he survived 3 minutes with Renan Ferreira.
Guess it's working at that camp. I mean, hey, after injuring John Jones with his takedown defense, Nascimento shoots, Mays stuffs it, Whizzer,
injury,
broken arm.
I called it when I see in the video on Twitter.
I made that joke today. Didn't get as much love as I would have liked, but it's all good. But
probably because I saw mine 3 days ago. So, like,
but
anyways, this guy's just repeating the same stuff Steve's repeating.
I didn't see anyone say anything, but yeah, I like Nascimento. Like, Mays in the Arlovsky fight, does that really tell me much that he finally knocked out Arlovsky? I was pretty surprised, not gonna lie. I feel like Mays is like the perfect person for Arlovsky to beat, but I mean, Father Time is undefeated, and he certainly was undefeated there. The Sakai loss was disgusting, just a disgusting fight that I don't want to ever watch again. The Hamdi fight, one of the most tilting bets I've ever made in my life, was back in Dontel Mays. What'd you say?
Did you watch that one again?
Did I watch the Hamdi fight again? Of course. I'm never going to miss an opportunity to watch Hamdi fight. I don't think we ever see him in the UFC again, so just going to have to rewatch that fight. But
shame.
Yeah, other than Mays getting a knockout, I don't see it here. Is he going to wrestle? He shouldn't. He's an idiot if he does. His takedown defense isn't much better. If you believe the John Jones video, sure, but I don't think so. I think it's favorite or pass. Like you, I'll get to it more than likely. I'm just waiting to see if we get something better. Now we won't, because like you say, we're the sharps, and all the sharps are watching us, so the line will move the other way, but what can we do? Next up, we've got Gabriel Bonfim versus Nicolas Dalby. I didn't realize this is the co-main event. Bonfim is 15-0 undefeated, 26 years old, 6'1" with the 72-inch reach. That's crazy. Dalby on the other side, 22, 4-1, 38. He's 12 years older, 5'11". He's 2 inches shorter, and he's going to have a 2.5-inch reach advantage. So, speaking of me recklessly parlaying before UFC 294, this was number 1. Parlayed him more than anyone else. I think I put 5.4 units on him. And then UFC 294 ended, and I started retaping everything. And I'm still really confident in him. I still think he wins. I'm just like extremely uncomfortable having that money down on him. It was at minus 350, so at least I can say I wasn't parlaying minus 600. And I feel like he probably does cover minus 350. I think he is going to finish Dalby. But again, I'm like shook after Jubilee, so just don't want to have that much money on a guy where there are questions. We still don't know what it's going to look like when he's extended properly. He's been to round 3 twice. That's it. Never been to a decision. So I don't want 5.4 units on him. I hedged a little. I played the Dalby money line when it was plus 320. Didn't think it would get better. Classic me. Reverse the Ovid.
Well, you moved the line, so
And
it wasn't going to get better until the bookies received your action.
And then they went the other way as usual.
But like time to pull the trigger.
The biggest concern there is if my other parlay pieces lose, and then Bonfim wins. Shot myself in the leg not once but twice.
That's the beauty of parlaying and hedging.
Yep. So I am very uncomfortable. This could easily ruin my night. And yeah, I can't do anything now but sit and wait for it to happen. I'm hoping my reads are correct. I'm fairly confident in all my parlay pieces, including Bonfim. But yeah, I'm shook. Now, in terms of the actual fight, though, Bonfim is really good. I saw people saying they don't like his striking that much. Maybe you'll have some to add about that, but like I like his striking. I think he's a good striker. I think he's fast, crisp. His grappling is very good. Defensively, offensively, the submission game is nasty, super fast. Don't love guillotine chokes just because of the nature of them. But so far they're working. He's setting them up well. He's not being reckless. He's going for it when he has the proper opportunity. And I don't think Dalby's necessarily the one who's going to take advantage of a bad guillotine. Don't expect him to be able to hold Bonfim down if that happens. I think Bonfim gets back up. And it's so like convenient that people are saying Dalby's never been finished. Like, I get it. I get it was a no contest and Ronson popped, but like it was a finish. He got finished. He got club and subbed by Jesse Ronson. And I get that he was on the juice, but he was also a career lightweight. And now he's fighting Bonfim, who's probably also on juice, just won't get caught. And is bigger, is an actual welterweight, has a lot of power, has the sub threat. I think Dalby probably gets finished. I hedged off a little bit just because, again, we don't know what Bonfim really is going to look like if he's pushed later in the fight. Dalby, he is the kind of guy who will push somebody. At 38, not great, but he's still got it a little bit. He's still got that output. I think his striking is pretty decent. Don't love the grappling. Don't think there's much there for him here. He definitely shouldn't try shooting takedowns. That would be ill-advised. I think it's Bonfim all day. Fairly confident. Just uncomfortable with my stake. How about you, Steve?
I agree with everything, man. I agree with everything. The only thing that I considered was the over at plus money. I've hit the last under 1.5 against Trevin Giles, but I love fading Trevin Giles, and that was a pick'em. And now they're tempting me with this plus money, and unintentionally, I just taped a lot of Dalby's career. You know, I went all the way back to his debut with Zaleski, just for the sake of, a completely irrelevant fight. Zaleski's takedown defense so much better. I just like to sometimes go really, really old fights for old time's sake. And then I watched him versus Lahore in Cage Warriors because Lahore's fighting on Octagon. And I was like, man, Dalby's never really close to getting subbed, like ever, at all. You know, he got grounded by Sabota, and obviously third-degree black belt Cordia Silva had him in awful positions. Right, that guy subs everyone, you know. But yeah, I don't know. There's something about the way Gabriel Bonfim fights. Like, I think the people saying they don't like his striking is because he's super aggressive and he's open to be hit. I noticed that too. But I think that's part of his game plan in terms of he puts so much pressure on people that he invites them to shoot, and that's what sets up his guillotine. And the plus money, man, I was close. I was close, but it's like his last 7 fights have all gone under. And if you give him the neck, he's extremely submission over position. Like, he wants that thing. If I knew there was a chance that this guy was going to test his striking for this fight, I'm all over it. But like this guy's coming in there looking for a 20-second guillotine choke. Like, I can just see it. I'm not someone that thinks, that Dalby can't be submitted. I'm sure it's possible. I think he was really scrambled in that finish. He early tapped to the rear naked choke. Like, I think he was really hurt from the ground and pound and the overhand right from that cheater, whatever his name, Jesse Ronson. So it was more like, yeah, I'm done. I'm concussed. I quit. But yeah, man, that's the only thing I like here. I think I'm not as confident in him as a parlay piece, just because I think Dalby's not as washed as Pichel, for example. And I think his brother is a lot. I've seen a lot more of Bonfim's brother, so I know exactly how it's going to play out. Where I haven't seen much of this Gabriel, and his only adversity that we've seen was almost getting knocked out by Brenner Alberth in LFA, and that was 2-round fights for some reason, 2-minute rounds, and he got saved by the bell. And then he came out in round 3 and knocked him out, and that was also under 7.5 minutes because it was 2 minutes, so it was under So the guy finishes everyone under 1.5. So, I mean, I don't know. I think it's possible. But I think that the over is the side at plus money. And I'm potentially, I think he should win. He should win. Like, what I saw.
Oh, sorry, continue.
No, sorry, I'm almost done. I saw him take people down proactively as well. Like the way he was manhandling Trevin Giles. Like this guy even has offensive grappling as well. Like he took down Trey Waters down, and then Trey Waters went for his own guillotine and he hit him with one flu. Like this guy's got all kinds of submissions, man. So yeah, I don't know if I have the balls to play the over, but at plus money, if you really think that Dalby can put up a fight, that's the way to play it.
I was gonna say, do you get like a fight starts round 2 by you?
Yeah, I thought about it, but it's like, what's the point when all of his guillotines come in round 1 still? Like you think you're being a bit safer, but it still ends in the first round.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
And much worse odds as well.
What'd you say?
At much worse odds than the 1.5 as well.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be like minus 200 or some shit. All right. Moving on to our main event that we literally almost lost because turned out Derrick Lewis decided to go 80 miles above the 50-mile speed limit, but it's good. Derrick Lewis is there. He's signing posters. We got Jailton Almeida versus Derrick Lewis. Almeida 19-2-0, 32 years old, 6'3" with the 79-inch reach. On the other side, Lewis 27-11-0, 38. He's 6 years older. Same height, same reach. Start us off, Steve.
What is there to say, man? What is there to say on a Jailton Almeida main event? And to make it even better, they gave us Derrick Lewis. I'm getting flashbacks of when I lost money on Derrick Lewis against Sergey Spivak. But I think that was, I've never seen Derrick Lewis get run through by grapplers like that, you know. And he did get up 5 or 6 times. That's why I played him. And, you know, since Spivak loves to get knocked out in the first round, even against Gane, you know, he's just one of those flaky dudes. He's good at grappling, but if you stuff his... And I thought, you know, that was going to happen. You know, Derrick Lewis was going to get up multiple times. He's fought this matchup, you know, so many times. Curtis Blades, Alexei Olenek, everyone. He's fought everyone. And he goes, you know, I love when they give me these wrestlers. And now he's getting a wrestler on short notice, right? If he comes in with those abs that I saw against Diego Lima, then that's all I'm going to say. And you see that front kick that he threw at Shamil Abdulrahimov? Abdul caught it and countered him with the right hand, and he did the stanky leg. Man, if that's a Derrick Lewis overhand, he's going to sleep. And I thought what's his name? I thought Jairzinho could get out of round 1, but he kind of proved to be a bit of a bitch. Like as soon as Jailton started throwing the King Kong hammer fist from out, he gave his neck up instantly. I don't see Derrick Lewis giving that up. I think Lewis is fine just to be flat on his back for like 3 minutes, like what he does. He loves to rest, and if he explodes, it's going to be hard to, you know, re-naked choke Derrick Lewis. Maybe I'm wrong. I think this is the biggest. I've been looking for a natural heavyweight to fade Jailton, and this is Derrick Lewis. So yeah, what to say here, man? The under is unplayable, even though it probably hits from both sides. But yeah, I have to do some more tape. I only taped Jailton, but I have to do some more tape on Derrick Lewis. You know, I'll probably watch that Alexei fight. I'll probably watch that Spivak fight, even though he got taken down 5 times. Yeah, what is there to say? Not dog or pass, I guess. Lewis KO if you're feeling brave.
Can I interest you in some fight ends inside the distance at minus 3,000?
I already parlayed it in 7 different parlays.
So did I. It's my anchor.
I'm sure it is.
I mean, hey, you know me. You already know how much money I lost on Curtis Blades just by knowing my parlays.
Can I just ask? I was thinking about, how did you get burnt last week when like all the favorites won? I was parlaying all the favorites and they were just all hitting.
I mean, I just murked myself with Jubilee. There was never any coming back after that. And then I had Wood. The Wood loss was pretty unfortunate. Felt like should have won that one. And then, I had Jubilee with Dudakova. I had him with Magomedov. Parlayed the wrong guy is what happened.
That's it. There's a skill to parlaying juice, man. There's a skill to parlaying. Last week, all the juice hit. You just picked the Indian guy carrying
one. I picked the one dude.
Yeah. I mean, he was 2-0 up, I guess. But
yeah, but even towards the end of round 2, I was looking at my friend. I was like, dude,
he's flaking. He's flaking.
I'm shook. I was shook. But Yeah, for this fight, I still don't really understand why Almeida went up to heavyweight. I kind of get it. He thinks it's easier, and
It clearly is, bro.
it is
He's about to get a title shot.
it is easier, and he will get a title shot. But then it's like, is he really gonna beat these top guys though? Like
No.
Pavlovich, Aspinall, Blades would have been a great matchup. I felt like he was gonna beat Blades, but that was a good fight and one I wish we saw. Yeah, I don't know why he's here, but Derrick Lewis is probably a winnable fight. I'm still kicking myself. I picked Derrick Lewis to beat De Lima. I think I even bet Lewis by decision at plus 1,000. But of course, I didn't bet the money line when it was plus 200. Still kicking myself. But what can you do? I mean, first of all, let's talk about this. He was in jail on Wednesday. He's been in jail since Wednesday. I don't know when he got out, but that's not helpful. Not that I really think he has the classic Derrick Lewis puncher's chance, but like even like you said, he won't get subbed off like when he's on his back. I feel like that's when he's more likely to get subbed here. Like I think an arm triangle. That's what I'm seeing. I see Jailton Almeida running in there, throwing a few strikes, doing the classic Almeida takedown on his knees. Don't expect Lewis to defend it, and then I think an arm triangle comes shortly after. Or maybe ground and pound. They cashed that Almeida round 2 against Shamil because I felt like Shamil could survive. But then like with Lewis, it's like Lewis could probably survive too, but he could also just not. And with the whole jail thing, I think I'm just good. Like I said, before UFC 294, I went on my parlay bonanza. I parlayed him with Bonfim for 2 units, but that was it. And I didn't do anything else. And I'm not going to. I considered maybe like the KO for a ground and pound finish, but the odds aren't good. It's plus 185 for the KO, minus 125 for the sub. Can't do anything with that. It's just like a matter of what is he going to choose to do on the ground. So Almeida's a pick, but it's a pass for me on either side. I wouldn't bet Lewis, even though I guess he can knock him out.
Yeah, I also did rounds 2-3 KO for Almeida against Shamil, but he's a lot chinier, and Shamil? Lewis is not. Yeah, and Lewis is not chinny, and I respect his submission defense, but so maybe fight starts round 2 again.
That could be a good one.
Yeah, because
round 2 is plus 325. That's kind of crap.
The pleasure man. I smashed that under 1.5. It wasn't even that juicy. It was like $1.62 against short notice pleasure man, and it was a heavyweight or a catch weight. And pleasure man.
Brother. That's the first ever tip we've ever gotten over here. Thank you, man. Appreciate you tuning in as always.
What a legend. Good guy, Gaucho. I just saw it was heavyweight or catch weight, and Anton was like 215, right, which is a tiny light heavyweight. So there's like tiny light heavyweight against Jailton Almeida on short notice, and they were giving us a generous under 1.5. And he almost made it. I think there was like 30 seconds till round 2. So that's probably the only way to play this guy. Start rounds 2. It's probably going to be like plus money.
75. It's going to be plus money because the over is plus 275 for the over 1.5.
That's big. Yeah, it has to be. That's a play for me, man. And just
Yeah, I'm in. I'm writing it down.
Hold. Keep my heart in my throat and just hope for the best.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff where you just don't watch. Like I just turn away.
I mean, what would I watch? It's Jailton Almeida main events are pointless, dude. Go to the toilet. You come back and he's King Kong ground and pounding someone from Mount.
Yeah, I feel like this is probably the last. Like I think he loses the next one. I feel like unless they give him another layup somehow. But I feel like at this point he wins this. You probably give him maybe a title eliminator against the loser of this next one.
I would give him John Jones, but John Jones is a pansy. I'll give him Stipe.
Neither of them are going to do that. Even though
I'll tell Stipe, you fight this guy, we cut you.
I feel like either guy could probably beat him. Maybe not Stipe, but
no, probably. He's getting knocked out. When he loses, he's getting knocked out.
Who? Almeida?
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's a card. That's 13 fights. Thank you all for tuning in. As always, appreciate every single one of you, especially sticking through a show with Steve. I know Steve is the worst, so thanks for sticking through anyways. Steve, thanks for coming on, brother. Why don't you tell the people where to find you and what you got going on this week?
No worries, man. Hopefully you guys cash all my beautiful plus EV leans that I'm giving out for free on this podcast. Yeah, just big brain MMA. I will usually do breakdowns and regionals. Probably won't do it this week. Too much going on, but Big Steve _MMA. I'll be giving out some Octagon and whatnot in the Discord like usual. That's about it.
Yep. And for me, tomorrow, short notice debut on the Chronic Combat show. I'll be there, so tune into that. That should be a good time, my fellow Chronicers. And then on Thursday, probably doing Prop Talk with Propaholic. Got to get a hold of him and get it together. We haven't done it for like 3 weeks because the dude loves football more than he loves the show, apparently. And yeah, no regionals for me this week. Like Steve said, there's just too much of them. I'll bet them and I'll post them as always. So check that out on my Twitter at Couch Warrior Pod. Subscribe, like if you haven't, really helps. And my Discord, I post a link. I'll post a new one because I think they get expired. It's 100% free. We talk fights. I post my bets there before Twitter. So you get them first. And it's a good time. We got Steve in there. He's all right. Sometimes he's around. But yeah, make sure to check that out. And thank you guys all once again. Good luck this weekend and peace out.